All right, so I just want to welcome everyone to the AARP Grant Competition Info Session. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Matt Schnarr, and I'm the Expansion and Partnerships Manager here at the Campus Kitchens Project. I first just want to thank you guys so much for all the hard work you've already put in to this effort. We are really excited over here at the Campus Kitchens office to get this video competition started and going, and I hope you guys are as well. I think it's really great to clearly foster a really healthy sense of competition. I just want to remind everyone that hopefully you all will be part of the CKP network very soon, so we're just really excited to have everyone, regardless of the outcomes of the competition. So quickly to go over what we're going to talk about today, this webinar has a couple purposes. One, it's going to make sure everyone's really clear on how the competition itself works. Then we're going to also go over the logistics of the timeline, how to vote, and kind of everything else regarding the competition itself. The other important part of this webinar is going to prepare you all to help get out the vote as best possible and make sure that you're really utilizing all of your outlets to reach your audiences during that week to get as many voters as possible. And so for that portion, I brought in our resident social media guru and communications guru in the office, Linda Kurtz, who you'll hear from in just a little bit. All right, so first, and before we go any further, I just want to take a moment to definitely recognize our amazing sponsor for this grant competition, which is the AARP Foundation. Their commitment to ending senior hunger across the country is truly inspiring, and we're really excited and proud to be able to work with them and provide these grants for you all. So remember that if you receive one of the grants, you'll have to at least adults in some capacity when you start your campus kitchen. We realize that older adult hunger is not always on the forefront of everyone's minds when we talk about the issue of hunger, so we're really excited to be able to address this increasingly important issue. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the basics of the competition, so just to make sure we're all on the same page. So the voting competition begins when we post your videos on our voting page on Tuesday, October 14th at noon. So that's middle of the day. At that point, you'll be able to start, view, and vote for your videos at that time. The competition is going to run a full week until Tuesday the 21st of October, where voting will close at 11:59 p.m., so right before 12 noon. Winners are going to be announced that exact same day after the voting closes. So as you'll see here, the main page for where all the videos and the leaderboard will be found, which we'll look at in a little bit later, is going to be at the address www.campuskitchens.org/AARP. You will also note, so that in that page you'll see all the videos that are competing with, and also the leaderboard with all the votes. That page loads randomly every time, so that different videos are on top every time you load that video. You also notice you each have your own personalized link that goes directly to your specific video and your video only. So you can see that the handle's there, and we're going to get you that information through email as well, but note that each of you will have a personalized link as well to send out to your audiences that you'll be reaching out to. Yeah, and it may or may not be live right now, so if there's nothing on it now, and there might be a few example things that we're going to go over in a second, but no need to go to it now because there's nothing that's happening yet. But we'll let you know when those do go live on Tuesday the 14th. All right. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how to actually vote for your video, because we want that to be as clear as possible to you, so you can reiterate that as clearly as possible to your audiences. We're going to go over this in real time in a little bit when Linda speaks, but now we'll just go over the basics. So the only way to vote for your video, to have it count towards the leaderboard, is to click the little orange and gray Vote Now button that you see on the screen right now. So it's either going to be on the top or the bottom of your video. If anyone votes from the main page, the button's going to be on the top right here. So if they vote for when they can see all the videos and the leaderboard, that Vote Now button on the top right is how they're going to tally their vote. If you send them your individualized link, the same orange and gray button is going to be at the bottom right of your video. So remember, that is the only way that you can that anyone can vote for a video. Some ways that you cannot vote. It might be a bit confusing. You want to be clear to those that you're sending the message out that if there's going to be a tweet and a Facebook share and like button under each video that Linda will show you in a second. But note that if you press the like button on Facebook or you tweet it on, I get a little bit of background noise. I'm going to mute you guys really quickly. All right, sorry. All right, so As I was saying, if anyone that comes to your page and they click the tweet button, or they click the like button on Facebook, or if they click the like button on the original video on YouTube, that will not go towards the total of your votes. So you really want to make sure that people understand that they need to click that little Vote Now button, either on the top or the bottom of your video. All right, as you see there. Great. All right, so now let's go over some of the voting rules. The main thing you need to know as you promote your video is that this voting system that we use limits 1 vote per person per IP address per day. So that means that a person can vote from the same computer or device only once in a 24-hour period. So it's really important to let your voters know that they can vote once a day from a single device, or has a single IP address. The only issue that you might run into if you're trying to vote from a group of computers that share one IP address, say in a computer lab or maybe a library on campus that sometimes might share just, again, one IP address, you will have the issue of only being able to vote once per that group per day. But I know while this isn't ideal, realize that that limitation is the same for everyone participating. So we realize that's not the easiest thing, but we realize it's the same limitation for everyone that's competing, so there's no unfair advantages. But be sure to make it really clear to all your voters that they can vote every single day or every 24-hour period from each individual device that they're voting on. Again, I want to reiterate that while this is a competition and it's great to have a good competitive spirit, we should all remember that hopefully at some point we're all going to be joining the CKP network, and any form of cheating will be grounds for disqualification. So you're prohibited from obtaining votes by any kind of fraudulent or inappropriate means, including anything like offering prizes or other incentives for prospective voters. Again, as we monitor the votes, votes that are received from an IP address in excess, so aka more than 7 times, will be voided. And any type of use of any kind of script or macro or robotic or automatic system to vote, clearly with the intent to impair any of the integrity of the voting process, is clearly prohibited, and all of those votes will be void. So basically just saying, let's keep this as clean as possible, and everything will be great. So before we move on to what Linda has to say for a little bit, I want to open it up if there are any specific questions. Let me unmute you all. One second. Any questions about the logistics or the timeline or how to vote? You can also type those in the chat box if you don't want to speak, or just speak them now.
Hey Matt, so just to clarify, I can vote once a day. So it's okay for me to vote Monday and then vote Tuesday and then vote again Thursday. Okay.
And that's exactly what you should be encouraging all your voters, is they can vote, in theory 7 times from each device. So from a computer, if they wanted to use their iPhone, their iPad, whatever has a separate IP address, they can so you can vote once a day and should vote once a day. So that's definitely a message you should. Yep, definitely. Any other questions right now? Cool. We'll have some more time at the end for questions too, but I'm going to actually hand it over to Linda now, so she's going to talk to you guys about how to actually get out the vote.
Hi, we're having technical difficulties. Give us 1 sec. Okay. Hi again. This is Linda. For those of you who I haven't met, I am the Online Community Engagement Manager for the Campus Kitchens project. So I do all things online, digital for us, including social media, and manage the social media, etc., for our last grant competition earlier in the year. So I'm here to tell you about how we will support you through this grant competition process and give you some tips about how you all can have a really successful competition and hopefully win. So I think the primary tool that most of you all will be using to get out the vote is social media. And we provide you with a few things in order to make this possible. So on not next Monday, Monday the 13th is when I or Matt will have sent you 2 different social media graphics and sample social media posts that you can use. You might get them before the 13th, but at the 13th at the latest, by the close of the day, you'll have them in hand. So we give you sample Twitter and Facebook posts that include the Twitter handles for your school or your sponsoring office, if we knew who that was and could find them on Twitter, and our handle. And a few of them include AARP Foundation as our sponsor. And then the Facebook posts are also somewhat personalized to have your university and AARP Foundation. For those of you who are able to see the screen, you'll also see the two images we'll be sending you. The first at the top of the screen is an image that you can use on Twitter. Twitter has recently changed, for those of you who aren't super familiar with it, to show pictures embedded in the Twitter feed, which is really cool. So it's kind of another way to grab attention. So you'll each get an image that says vote for whatever your school name is to win $5,000 to start a campus kitchen, and it has our logo on it and AARP Foundation's logo on it. And then the image at the bottom of the screen that you can see is a Facebook image that you all will be getting. And it's actually great for Instagram too because it's a square. And so that image will have a screenshot from your video and your school's name. So vote for blank school to win $5,000 to start a campus kitchen. Our logo, AARP Foundation's logo. So like I said, I'll be sending this to you by a week from Monday. And you're able to use these in whatever capacity you would like, and you will all get ones that look very, very similar. And then I will be sharing them on a national level, which we'll talk about in a sec. Oh, you'll also see on that last slide, something I forgot to say, but you don't have to go back, Matt, there is a shortened link that a lot of these posts include for the competition. So Matt told you what the long URL for the competition is, which is campuskitchens.org/AARP, which actually isn't that long or complicated. But in case you like using shortened links better, there is a shortened link that we'll be sending you, like I said, and it's bit.ly, so bit.ly/CKP-AARP. You can see that there. It looks like one time it says AARO. That's a typo. My bad. It's AARP. So those both links go to the same place, and you can use whichever you like. So we do have a few tips for outreach, and I'll be sending you a larger document. It's not that large. Don't get worried about some outreach tips, but here are just some big ones of things that you all can start thinking about now to ensure that you have great success come the 15th and throughout the course of the competition. So something I would recommend that you all do, if you haven't yet, is get in touch with your school's media relations or public affairs or press office and see if they'll help you with outreach. So this could look like a lot of different things, and whatever they're able to do to help you is better than the nothing that you would do without them. And so it's a great, they can be a really great resource, whatever they're able to do for you. So that could look like your school putting out a press release on your behalf saying that, for example, the University of Kentucky is in the running to win a $5,000 grant to start a campus kitchen. Go to this page to vote for them once per day through this date. It could look like them adding something about the grant competition in your school's internal newsletter or daily email or whatever sort of campus-wide communication you have. It could look like putting something in a faculty staff email to all of the folks that work at your school. Whatever ways, because it's different on every campus, whatever ways that your campus communicates internal news to the people that attend and work there, maybe they'd be willing to share that on your campus. Maybe they'd be willing to go the extra mile and do a little bit of press outreach for you and see if you could get covered in a local paper, or maybe the student paper, that's maybe something that you could seek out yourself. Any sort of publicity is going to definitely equal more votes than you or your planning team. So anything that you can do to get the word out, the better, and that is a great resource to start with. And I say start now because if you've never worked with your media affairs office before, then you wouldn't know that it can take several days to draft a press release, get it approved. They might need to talk to me or Matt about the correct way to say all of what's happening. And so you don't want to ask them on the 14th to start getting the word out on the 15th. That's not going to make them happy. So I would recommend starting that now. We also recommend that you do some great outreach to other departments, organizations, sports teams, what have you on your campus, and that includes alumni departments. You can feel free to give them copy and paste the exact same sample post I will be giving you to empower them to share the competition and take the burden off them to come up with some creative way to say what it is they need to say, and especially if they're not very familiar with it. But again, the more people you empower to vote for your school, the better. And these people, they either went to your school or currently go to your school, and they're obviously going to vote for you and have the desire to help you win. And so again, if you can get that on their calendars to share and kind of give them a heads up before the competition starts, it's a really great way to get lots of votes. And then also a good thing to do now would be to put your planning team's heads together and brainstorm who else might share your video and give them a heads up as well. So do you already have an idea of who you might partner with in the community? Would they share your video with their people? Could you work with dining services? Have you already talked to them? Who are your other contacts on and off campus that might share your video? Or even beyond, you know, will your mom share it with all of her friends? Can you send it to her? Anything to get lots of votes. And then I have a couple of other tips from our past competitors from our previous competition earlier in the year. So one of the schools that won with more than 10,000 votes, which is pretty impressive, one of their planning team members went to every Facebook page that the school had, so the actual school Facebook page, all of the sports organizations, all the alumni organizations, et cetera, posted on them, went to local organizations in their community and had all of his friends share the link. They got in the on-campus departmental emails as well, and then they wound up working with their media relations office to get on the home page of their school's website. And like I said, they wound up getting more than 10,000 votes, which was awesome. And the media team, the PR team at their school is really happy because a lot of people went to their school's website to learn more about the competition and then to vote. So they had a lot of web traffic, and everyone wants more web traffic, so it's a win-win. Another group that participated sort of played off of their small town mentality and the fact that everyone, or they made a small town mentality, I should say, and everyone was really rallying for the school, and so they were able to get a lot of community support as well and sort of give the sense that the community was rallying around the school to give back to the community in this really impactful and powerful way. Another group went to different classes. I don't know how they coordinated this, but they told us that they went to several classes and mentioned the competition, and I think even the professors would let students whip out their phones in class and vote for their video right there and then, which is an easy way to get, I don't know, depending on the size of your school, a couple dozen votes right when you're talking about it. And then a lot of them in general did some tabling on campus, but mostly social media outreaches, which is why we try to empower you to do the best you can with that. Excuse me. So as I mentioned, I, on the national level, will also be sharing not only the competition, but you as individual competitors. So you can see on the screen a sort of general calendar of what this outreach will probably look like, though you'll also note that the dates are subject to change because we're still working some things out. So on October 14th, the first day of the competition, and prior, I'll be doing a lot of initial sort of get out the vote and look, we're doing this awesome national competition. 5 schools are competing to win $5,000. Vote for your favorite. And then in the next 5 days, with one exception, we will be going through and promoting you individually in alphabetical order. That's how we chose it. It's no preference on our part. We are going to be impartial, and so the most fair way to ensure that you all get a day's worth of coverage is just to do it alphabetically. So on October 15th, we'll be featuring George Mason's video. October 16th is a deviation. I'll come back to that. October 17th, we'll be featuring Sacred Heart Prep and their video. On the 18th, it'll be University of Kentucky. On the 19th, it will be UW-Madison. On the 20th, it will be Walsh. And then on the 21st, it's a general last-minute get-out-the-vote for whoever you'd like again. I'm going to talk about the 16th in a second. That's going to be another general outreach day because we actually have a special event that you all will be involved with on that day. So again, that's my calendar for when I will be promoting each school individually in a fair attempt to make sure that we promote your goals and your initiative and why you're competing on a national level. So on the 16th, which is the Thursday of the competition, let me cycle back for a second. So you all know that AARP Foundation is sponsoring this competition, and they are a great funding partner of ours in general. AARP, as you can imagine, is most interested in senior hunger, as you know, and fighting hunger in older adult populations in the United States. One really cool thing, for lack of a better word, that they have is a great partnership with NASCAR driver Jeff Gordon, number 24. If you're not a NASCAR fan, he's a pretty cool guy. And he has the only cause-based sponsorship in NASCAR, which is called Drive to End Hunger, and it's funded by AARP Foundation and others. And so AARP Foundation is graciously leveraging Jeff Gordon for actually multiple events around this competition. But the biggest one is going to be on October 16th. We don't have a time yet, and I'll be sure to communicate with you, but I'd like you to mark that on your calendars. And it's going to be a live Twitter chat with Jeff for probably about 30 minutes to an hour. Like I said, we don't have an exact time yet. And so at this time, Jeff will be on Twitter with me and with all of you all and other students from our network and other people across the country to talk about the issue of older adult hunger, what Jeff likes about what he's excited about you all, what he knows about your videos. He'll have watched them and he'll know about you ahead of time, and other things that are relating to that. And so we are asking that you all participate, and we're also asking that you give Jeff an idea of what kind of questions you might want to ask him by submitting questions ahead of time. And the URL to do that is campuskitchens.org/askjg. And again, Matt or I will email all of this to you. And that page, I don't think it's live yet. It might be, but it will be live as of tomorrow. So starting tomorrow, you can enter as many questions as you would like for us to send to the Jeff Gordon team and Jeff. What I'm also going to need from you all is the Twitter handles of you personally, or maybe your sponsoring office or other campus organization or group that might be participating in this chat, so that Jeff can be on the lookout for them. I've already given him the Twitter handles of all of your schools. That's easy. But I don't think it would be appropriate for me to personally stalk all of you on Twitter. So if you would like to send me that, that would be great. And again, we will email you with more details on this and asking for that information. But just as a heads up, we will be asking about that. And then the other cool, exciting thing that's happening that you don't have to do anything about except for maybe be excited if this is your thing, is that on Jeff Gordon's races on this Sunday, October 5th, and next Saturday, the 11th, our website will be on Jeff Gordon's car. And so there's a possibility that he'll be interviewed and asked, what is this Campus Kitchens thing, and mention the grant competition. And then it's also going to send people to our website to see your videos, vote for them, and submit questions for Jeff. So it's a cool way to sort of leverage this competition on a much larger national scale, and a really great opportunity for you all in your schools to get a little bit of more national play, we hope. So that is what's going on with Jeff Gordon and his team. And if you have any questions, hold them for just another minute and we'll get there. And we're moving to the next slide, I think. Oh, the next slide is Matt. So I guess it is time for questions. If Matt would unmute everyone. Does anyone have questions for me about social media, Twitter chat, anything, outreach, anything that is about what I talked about or tangentially related at all?
I have one question. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Hi. Sorry, I just joined a couple minutes ago, just so you know, because I just got on the clock.
No problem.
I'm Caroline Sprague from Sacred Heart Preparatory. And my question was just, so what exactly is the process to go through if we want to start a Facebook page? Is there anything we have to get cleared to run by you guys before we post anything?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you so much for asking. So you all will only be allowed to start or get Facebook pages when you have signed the official contract with the Campus Kitchens Project. All of you have given us a letter of intent from your school that says that they intend on signing that contract when the time has come, but most of you have not actually signed the contract, which is cool. It's not necessary, but only upon signing that contract are you able to use our name and our branding, our logo, etc., on social media, on anywhere. So none of you are official Campus Kitchens yet. You may note that one I think only one of the schools competing in this competition has actually signed the contract, but they will not be representing themselves as an official campus kitchen in the competition because they are not. They have not started. Obviously, none of you have.
Yeah.
So if you
I
see
think
that
might be us. Yeah.
Okay. So if you see that, don't freak out. No one's getting an unfair advantage. So if I have not gotten in touch with you about social media pages, it means that you're not eligible yet to get them. So please do not create them. Do not create an official Facebook page without me doing it for you. That being said, if you really, really want to create a page that, you know, not called the campus kitchen at whatever your school is, but something about, you know, so-and-so students planning a campus kitchen, you can. It's not my favorite thing, but if you really think that will help you, you can try. I don't think it's really going to help you because you'll have to build a community on that page before it's of any use for you, but that's my full fleshed out answer for you.
Yeah, I think ideally you're going to be, this is Matt again, ideally you're going to just be utilizing existing pages through your school, and that could be a lot more effective since they have probably a very large network of folks already on that page that you're just going to be posting the stuff that we provide. So I think that's probably the best way to do it at this point. Since, again, even if you created something now, you probably wouldn't gain that many followers that's even worth it that you could probably post on many other existing pages. So that's kind of, I think, our general spiel.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and Carolyn, also, this whole presentation is going to be recorded, so I can send over the beginning half, so no worries about that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that, too.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone? Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to do the last little spiel, and then we'll have time also for questions at the end. I'm going to mute some of you all there. All right. Great. All right. So we're going to quickly go over the prizes because that's the exciting part and why we're doing this in a lot of ways, though there are some alternative benefits as well from participating, which we'll talk about. But the important thing you need to know about this grant will be there'll be 3 winners, the top 3. So there's not anything necessarily that you get for actually finishing first, except for bragging rights. A lot of the schools last year definitely were vying for that top spot, even though all three spots got the same prize. But it can be a good way to keep your voting audience engaged if you continue to say that maybe you don't let them know that all top 3 get the prize and that you want them to keep voting until you're number 1. So that can be a good kind of strategy to keep in mind. But just so you all know, the top 3 with the most votes will each receive a $5,000 grant in a series of installments. So we're going to quickly talk through this. This is clearly stuff we will talk about later, especially with the winners after they win. But just so, again, we're clear about what we're going to be receiving. The first installment of $1,500 you receive as soon as you sign the contract after winning. And you'll note in the official rules that you must actually sign the contract within 1 month of the competition ending to receive the grant. But this should be, again, a really simple process considering all of you have signed the letter of intent, which states that whoever signed that would be willing and able to sign our contract if you win, and that's the purpose of the letter of intent. So it should be a fairly quick and easy process, but once you sign that contract, we'll send over the $1,500, and that's used ideally to hire a student planning fellow who will complete the rest of the planning process that's found on the Campus Kitchen Planner. So I know that some of you might not need to hire a student planner either because you have a staff person leading the effort or you might be really close and ready to launch, but we've seen that that if you can provide that kind of extra incentive to the leading planners, they'll be able to finish the rest of the logistics a lot more quickly and be able to dedicate to it. But don't feel like you need a planning fellow. So we can definitely talk through this. What other ways we can use that first installment once we have some winners. So those conversations can be had once all that happens. But know that there are some options. But ideally, using a planning fellow really we've seen as a really strong strategy. All right, so next, the second installment of $800 is received once you've completed the majority of the tasks on the online planner. And this money is used for purchasing any necessary equipment, pots and pans, aprons, gloves, any kind of, those hard materials or disposables that you need for your startup. So that when you get to that point and start talking about about purchasing those kind of items, that's exactly when you'll be able to get that installment. The third installment of $1,200 will be received when you're ready to set up your actual launch of your campus kitchen, and that comes in the form of first and foremost in the form of an in-kind, in-person setup lunch visit from one of our staff. So one of our National Campus Kitchen staff will come to your campus for 3 to 4 days to make sure that everything is set up and ready for your operations, and meet with everyone, and just make sure that you guys are on a really solid foundation for getting things going. So any costs that you might have for a special launch event will also be covered here, and then you'll also receive any of the remainder of this installment after the launch is complete. And then finally, once you've successfully launched your campus kitchen, we'll send over the remaining $1,500 to be used for anything to sustain your campus kitchen. So that's completely up to you all how you want to use that part of the money. All right. Kind of just in closing a bit, I just want you all to remember that it's really important to really keep up the momentum that you're going to build throughout this week-long competition in October. It can be really important, I think, to set a date for your launch and really stick to that. And that date can be as soon as you can. I know some of you are ready to launch fairly soon. Some might be a little bit longer, but it's good to kind of set that, to have a goal to work towards. So anyway, what I should point out, though, regardless of when you are thinking about doing your launch, there is one caveat within. If you do receive one of these grants, you will have to launch by April 30th, 2015, which seems like quite a bit ways away, but that is written in the official rules that if you actually are not able to launch by then, you will not receive the remainder of your funds from the grant and may be forced to return any amounts that have already been paid. So I wouldn't be worried about that. It's not really a threat because everyone, that's plenty of time to get everything done, but just want you to know that is the final date you'll be able to launch. But also, it's really good to point out here that even if you don't get one of the 3 grants, you can and hopefully will still launch your campus kitchen. And in fact, every single school that participated in our last competition, winners and losers included, or winners and non-winners included, ended up launching their campus kitchen. So actually, I'm about to do the final 2 launches very soon of that group of campus kitchens, whether they received the grant or not. So in fact, even some of those that didn't receive the funding were able to receive alternative funds either from their school or from their community or from someone else just because of all the hype and the PR that they got from this competition itself, just from participating. So keep that in the back of your mind that, of course, ideally being one of the top 3 spots is what you want, but know that this competition has some added benefits of really being able to promote your program to, not only your classmates and those that go to your school, but also potential funders and partners. So that's something we saw happen at our past competitions. Also, just to note that the Campus Kitchens project also has other opportunities for funding, and we will continue to work with all schools, again, regardless of the outcome, to make sure that you guys are well prepped for getting your Campus Kitchen launched. So that remember, you've already done a ton of the hard work that comes into starting a Campus Kitchen, and I think, doing this foundational support building that you guys have already done is one of the hardest and sometimes one of the ones with the issues with the most barriers. So I think congratulations on getting that far, and I think a lot of the logistics that come next can happen really easily and smoothly. So we really want to encourage all of you to consider continuing to pursue this and become part of our network regardless of how this competition ends. So I think kind of in closing, we're just really excited and can't wait to work with all of you prior to the competition, during, and then definitely after. But I think we can definitely be focusing our time and attention right now just on the actual competition and getting our strategies for getting the vote out there and getting as many people to hear and see our videos as possible so that you guys can get the most votes as possible.
So Matt, this is Linda, your coworker, and I just realized we forgot to show everyone the competition page.
Oh, well, let's do that.
So would you pull that up, please?
Most definitely.
We just want to show you guys what it's going to look like this year. It's a smidge different than the pictures that you just saw. So give Matt 1 second to pull it up. And then while he's doing that, I also wanted to say to you all, I need from each of you, / your planning teams, from each participating school, I need a short paragraph about your proposed campus kitchen, and I'd like information about if you know already who you're serving, great. I mean, obviously you're all looking to serve older adults, but is there a particular community organization you're already planning on working with? Is there a particular food donor you're already planning on working with? Student group? What is going to make your campus kitchen stand out from the rest? And don't stress about it. I just need some details about you and your school and your proposed campus kitchen to share with AARP so that they are more educated in sharing about you all and what you're aiming to do in your communities with their national network. So if you could please send that to Matt, since you are already in touch with him, by the end of tomorrow, by the end of the week, we would really appreciate that. And he will email you a reminder tomorrow if we don't hear from you, but that's sort of something that we need somewhat ASAP from you all. And if you have questions about that, you can ask at the end. So this is this year's Campus Kitchen voting page. Obviously, the top will be a little different right now. We just pulled this together for like a quick second. So after this webinar is over, this page will no longer have a leaderboard or videos, and it will just be that text. And then once the page is live, there will be less text, and it will not say come back to visit for these videos. It will obviously have videos. So you can see that and so right now, please also note that this fake page, if you're going to look at it right now, says University of Kentucky, says UW-Madison. The videos are not Kentucky's or Madison's. They are videos from last time, so no one can see what each other's videos look like until we get going. So the leaderboard will rank you all by number of votes, and then like Matt said, the videos themselves beneath the leaderboard will rotate, and they'll come up in a random order each time you visit the page, so no ones will be on top first. So where Matt's mouse is right now over Vote Now, that is how you vote for your videos for that page. Once you do, it says thanks for your vote, and then if you try to vote when you already have, it will give you that message. You can vote after 1 day because we have it set up, as we said, that you can vote every 24 hours. If people ask you questions like, hey, I voted yesterday, but I can't vote today, say, what time did you vote yesterday and what time did you try to vote today? Because it's 24 hours, it's not by calendar day. Beneath each video are Facebook and Twitter share buttons. And Matt, if you would click on the Twitter button. Yep, Matt's going to interrupt me.
I was just say one thing. So just note that, every day, like, you can vote for as many videos as you want. I don't know, you probably wouldn't want to vote for other ones or encourage other people to do so, but note that I just did this again on the other video, and if I refresh, and now we're all tied up. Just wanted to say that and you also, if people are confused and say it doesn't show, they're not seeing their vote in the leaderboard, just ask them to make sure that they refresh their page. Back to you.
Okay, great point, Matt. So then you'll see the social share buttons under each video. And Matt, can you hit the tweet button, please? That pulls up a tweet. It pulls in your school name, vote for whatever school you are to win a $5,000 grant to start a campus kitchen, and then the URL to your video page via us. So that's a great way to easily share not only you, but everyone who comes to vote for your page. And then Matt, can you click on a name of the school? So this is the campuskitchens.org/AARP main page. Like Matt said, your video will each have its own unique URL that looks like your school name, and this is what that page looks like. And to vote on this page, you go to the bottom right of the page. Now, again, Matt already voted, so he can't do it again, so you can't vote twice in 2 different places. It knows. But that's what that page looks like. And then, again, the social share buttons will send people back exactly to that page. So on a national level, I will be sharing the campuskitchens.org/AARP page because that's where you can see the leaderboard and that's where you can see who's got the most votes or not. But your individual page means that people can only vote on your video. So it's totally your call on to which you share. So I think that's everything else that we wanted to share with you. So Matt, you want to unmute everyone? And are there any more questions about anything that we've talked about today?
I have a question about the short paragraph. Could you repeat what we need for that one again?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just need like 3 to 5 sentences about something that is going to make your campus kitchen unique. So again, I know that you all are going to be serving older adults, so you don't need to say that in your paragraph. But if you know, if you have a particular agency in the community that you've already planned on working with, awesome. Or if you know of a situation that is unique in your community that your campus kitchen will be addressing, I'd love to know that. If there's something really cool about your planning team, it involves people from so many parts of the campus, it's really diverse. It would be great to know that. So like anything that sets your plans or your team apart, just so that when we're talking about each school, we can say, well, the cool thing about University of Kentucky is this, but Walsh University, they have this, that kind of thing. So whatever you think is cool about your team and what's going to set you all apart. And as much specifics about your programming as you can get, but I know that not all of you are super far along in the planning process. So that's why I'm being vague, because you're all at different parts and you'll all have different things to share with me, but I hope that helps.
No, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Any other questions? Again, I'm going to send out a recording copy of this webinar if you want to go back for any of these things. We'll also send any of the information that we said we would send, we're going to send. And then clearly Linda will be in communication about the social media, Facebook and Twitter shares, all those different things in terms of what you're going to need for the actual competition. She'll be sending that out next week. So I thank you all. And again, if you have any questions at all, you have my contact information, and I can either answer you or put you in contact with Linda if it's a social media question. But we definitely want to be here for support and help if you guys get together and brainstorm and have some questions about the outreach or about anything at all. Please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd like to be in communication as much as possible, and especially even through the week as well. If you notice any issues with the page or notice anything that's weird or strange, please let us know. So we'll be monitoring it really closely, but it's great to have you all help as well. So if there aren't any last minute questions, I believe that we are done. I really thank you guys for spending this time with us and just getting all on the same page, and I can't say enough how excited we are for in a couple weeks on the 14th. So you'll be hearing from me very soon, and yeah, if you need anything, please reach out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.